Okay, Psalm 31:10. Remember, keep the four levels in mind here because we're going to be touching on all four. It says here, "Favor me, Hashem, for I am distressed." Now, distress, we know, is emotional. So we know the emotions are involved. However, when you speak about being distressed, you're really talking about the war between the intellect, what you know is to be done right, or what needs to be done, warring with the desires of your heart. So we see, "For I am distressed. Wasted away in grief are my eyes, my soul, and my body." So we see a complete four levels being or working together and are necessary to be employed at all times. Now, let's go to Psalm 84:3. 84:3 says, "My soul yearns, indeed it pines, for the courtyards of Hashem. My heart and my flesh pray fervently for this to the living God." Now, it says here, "My flesh pray fervently." Now, flesh does not pray. I think we know this. Your body doesn't have a conscience. Your conscience exists within what? Your heart and your soul and your mind, but it doesn't exist in your physical being. So when we're dealing with the prayer, the word prayer means that we are bringing ourselves or subjecting ourselves to our Creator's will. So the idea here is that we're forcing our bodies to do the right thing. Now, in order for that to happen, your emotions have to be in order. They have to be bridled. They have to be tamed. By what? The intellect. And the intellect is driven by your soul. It is influenced by your soul is probably the better word there, because we can choose. We have free will. So what we see is the soul influencing the mind that's bridling the heart to bring out the proper actions within the physical. Now, Deuteronomy 6, verses 4 and 5, most of us know it by heart. If you do the Shema, you know Shema, Yisrael, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. What, in English, this is saying, "Hear, O Israel, Hashem is your God, Hashem is one." It's very important to understand that this word one, Echad, means literally one. It does not mean plurality. It's literally a single unit, one. So it cannot, God cannot be divided up in any way, shape, or form. Now, so we are recognizing that. Now we jump into the very next verse, verse 5, which says that we are, or actually it instructs us to love Hashem our Elohim, or Hashem our God, with all our heart, with our soul, and with all of our might. Now, we can easily equate the heart being your emotions. Your soul, the words to soul there, can include your will, can include your intellect as well. And as well as your life force, your being, and meaning being your soul. And then obviously all your might is your physical. You know, you're bringing everything to bear. You're putting extreme effort to do His will. But the question has to be asked, why is the heart first? The heart is first because it's the hardest to control. If the heart is in control, then your soul, in control meaning its own desires, it doesn't matter what your body does, it's not going to do for the right reason. It doesn't matter what your intellect does because you put the intellect on the side. It doesn't matter what your soul influence is because you're going to ignore it. So once you love fully your Creator with your heart, and that's in control by your intellect, and it's bridled, then all your might will reflect that. So it's put first because that's where the war is. That's where the events take place. That's where we run into the difficulties of our existence in terms of doing the right versus doing the wrong. All right, now, so we see the interaction of all these 4 levels mentioned in the Shema, and mentioning specifically that the war is within our heart, our emotions. That's where the rubber meets the road. That's where the life change has to take place. That's where our focus should be. It also implies something very specific, and that is your actions have to be employed. In other words, your body has to be employed. You have to be able to prove your faith, your change through your actions. But still, even though you do that, you could be doing the action for the wrong reasons. So there is a certain amount of judgment that could be placed upon. All right, I'm sorry about that. I had my kids walk in, needing my assistance. Anyway, I think everyone kind of gets the gist of what's going on. The heart is central to our relationship with our Creator. It's essential for us to do the right things for the right reasons. I mean, we can do the right things for the wrong reasons. And we see a lot of this in politics. Certain things are done not because they're trying to be good or because they're trying to do right, but because they're trying to gain a vote, which is the wrong reason for trying to do the right thing. So it's that type of a thought here. Anyway, with that stated, what I'd like to do is go on to the next chart and actually start developing a little better picture for you of what is taking place. Now, in this particular chart, you will see on the very top God's will. Now, God's will should be aligning with our will, meaning we should be aligning with God. Our will has to be brought into compliance with God's will. So that is sort of a picture of our soul. We have a one-to-one relationship with Him. A direct relationship. There's nothing in between us and Him. There's no intermediaries. There's no idols. There's no false gods. It's a direct relationship, and that is done by recognition of the Creator and our desire to do exactly what He would like us to do, or what He wills us to do. All right. Now, and below that you'll see unique perspective, and then on the left you see wisdom. On the right, understanding. Hold on one second. I just have to do something. Okay. So we got wisdom, we got understanding. Now, let me explain what wisdom and understanding is. Now, these are attributes we have. We do have wisdom. God has wisdom. God has a will, we have a will. God has understanding, we have understanding. It's important that these attributes map up to His will, His wisdom, His understanding. We see within the Torah, it tells us that, if we do Torah, we practice it at the 4 levels of our existence, that the nations will look at and say, what a wise and understanding people you are. Now, wisdom is chakma here, and that wisdom is nonverbal. It's something that can't be described. It's something that it's like a spark of inspiration. It's nonverbal. In other words, it can't be communicated to others. And what I mean by communicate, you can't sing it. Okay, you can't hum it. It's like a song. You can't speak it, words. You can't quantify it. You can't give it a number. You can't explain it mathematically. So or in picture. That's what's being shown here. Can't be done in picture at all.